Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today. We've got Dan George with us. So we'll go ahead and get started and just use the raise your hand feature, and we'll call on you in order of raise hands, and then Dan can answer your questions. So we can start with Parth. Go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, Daniel? Appreciate the time this afternoon.
How are you?
With you and John Dotson coming in to Penn State at the same time, just kind of over the years, what have you seen from him that shows you that the kind of success he had Saturday against Ohio State is something he can sustain?
Pretty much what everyone saw Saturday is literally what we've been seeing from Jahan the whole time he's been here. Since the first moment he came in, his routes have been great, and his one-hand catches in practice, they've been shocking everybody on the team since freshman year of camp. I think this is really just him coming into his own, really, I can say, and he'll just be able to. I have no doubt in my mind he'll be able to do this for the rest of the season.
Tyler Donahue.
Hi, Daniel. Thank you for the time. Keandre Lambert-Smith is now listed as a starter on the depth chart. You told us back in early October about those two freshmen, Parker and Keandre, making a lot of noise in the practice field. Even with that knowledge, has it been pretty impressive, stunning, whatever you want to call it, to see those two working in the first team unit already?
It has been pretty impressive, actually, especially with Parker. Parker's shown from early that he can be that dude, and Keandre is kind of over time progressed more and more and more. So it's very good to see both of those guys continuing to do well and continuing to do exactly what everybody believes that they can.
Justin Morgenstein.
Daniel, thanks for doing this today, man. Can you kind of explain, the impact of Coach Stubblefield with both you and the receiving corps so far this year?
Coach Stubbs has allowed all of us to pretty much open up our game. He gives us a wide range of tools to use, and then he just makes sure that he reminds us of those daily to make sure that we stay locked in and that we know that we have a lot of tools to win. And he just gives us and puts us in the best chance to use those tools.
Audrey Snyder.
Hey, Daniel, thanks for your time. I wanted to ask you, you just said a minute ago that Parker, that he can be that dude. When did you know that? Like, did he show you something in August or before that you thought, he could be some significant contributor?
I would say it was before that. Definitely this summer when we were all working out together. Just, hey, you want to go to the field and run some routes? You want to go work on this, work on that? Just watching the way that he moves, the way that he carries himself, I knew from the start that Parker would be one of those guys.
And if I can follow that up, if I may, we won't talk to Parker this year because he's a freshman. So what is that personality like as he's kind of tagging along with you guys to go run routes?
Parker's kind of like a real quiet, smooth dude. I would say he's a little bit relatable to Jahan in the sense that they're both kind of low-key guys, but every once in a while he chimes in, pops his joke, and it's always one of the funny ones. But yeah, he's a real chill guy, but funny at the same time.
Nubias Wilborn.
I've been asking a couple guys this, but what has been the toughest part about playing football in a COVID world?
For me, I would say the toughest part would be just getting used to how different everything is from how it used to be. You know what I mean? Like no fans in the games, meeting rooms, sometimes being on Zoom, having to wear a mask everywhere, having to wear a mask during practice, having to wear the gaiters. It's not nagging stuff, but it's something that once you get used to, you'll be fine, but you'll have to get used to it.
Can I follow up real quick, Chelsea?
Go ahead.
A lot of guys will always talk about like sacrificing, not being able to go out at the games. Like, what are some places that you miss being able to go and stay college that you can't now?
Just really being able to socialize with a lot of my friends, like all get-togethers, parties, stuff like that. Yeah, that's something that we choose not to go to just to make sure that we're making the best decisions to keep our team safe, keep ourselves safe, family, whoever that's around. So definitely going out to like parties and stuff like that. And I recently turned 21 this year, so I didn't get to experience the bars, stuff like that. So that was a little bumming to me, but it's all good for a better cause.
Nate Bauer.
Hey, Dan, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. Hey, kind of a multi-part question for you here, but what have you guys been missing by not having Cam available to you for the last couple of games in that receivers room? And then just maybe from a broader perspective, James was saying that maybe TJ might be available. You've only had 5 guys in that receivers room getting reps over the first 2 games. So, what type of impact will there be to have some depth there available to you guys?
It would be definitely to get TJ his speed back and with his leadership. He's definitely, I would say he's stepped up in his leadership role, even a little bit more than not being on the field, just being more vocal and making sure the guys are doing what they're supposed to do, energy is stand up, stuff like that. I would say that Cam has helped us in a way since he's been gone, but definitely we're missing him with his play because he's a real solid receiver. I would say he's like a spark. So if you wanted to get a spark going for the game, you can go to Cam and get that done. And same thing with TJ. TJ can be a deep threat for us. Very good at post goals, stuff like that. So I would say we're missing that aspect as well.
Thanks.
Peter Terpstra.
Hey, I'm just curious, who's on the shirt over your right shoulder?
Oh, this is from Scarface. The Scarface.
Is that your favorite movie? Is that like a decoration or you just hang it because I'm just curious.
Yeah, it's a decoration. It's my favorite movie. There's a shirt right here and there's a poster on top of it.
So why is that your favorite movie?
I don't know. I've really just, since the first time I've seen it, I've been attracted to that movie, and I've never found a movie that kind of gets me good, captivates me and gets me going quite like that.
That's all. Thank you.
Mark Wogenrich.
I can't hear anything.
Yeah, Mark, you're unmuted, but we're not getting any audio from you.
Change microphone better.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I got to keep playing with that microphone. You mentioned earlier about the sacrifices you've had to make now because of COVID. What makes it worth it? And 2, how have you seen like your teammates, or what have you seen from them? What have you heard from them that makes you think that they agree that it's worth it?
I would say it's the love of the game. I would choose football over going out partying, bars and stuff like any day. I would choose practice. I would choose meetings. I would choose lifting over parties and stuff like that any day. So I would definitely say the love of the game is what makes it all worth it. And I would say the same thing for your teammates, that we all have this on-track mind and that we're all willing to make that sacrifice. It's part of our core values. We're all willing to make that sacrifice in order for us to be as successful as possible.
Tyler Donahue.
Daniel, I know Sundays are pretty busy for you guys, but did you have a chance to watch KJ Hamler's touchdown catch live? If not, when did you see it? What was your reaction? And what did KJ mean to you the last couple of years as you were getting used to life in college football? And do you guys stay in contact?
Yeah, I didn't get to see it, the play live, which I'm kind of mad about. When I did see it, I was screaming, jumping, hollering like I was really at the game. I was here with my roommates, and I just happened to see it on Twitter, and then I saw it on Instagram. I saw it everywhere else, and I kept watching. KJ, for me, I would say he was kind of like I don't want to say big brother because it's KJ, but he was kind of like a big brother to me when I was while he was here. Just really showing me college football, showing me what it takes to get to that next level, the steps that you have to make, how locked in, how focused you have to be. And yeah, I do still stay in contact with KJ. I need to talk to him. I haven't talked to him since that.
Can I ask who are the roommates you were watching with?
Lamont and Don, Lamont Wade and Johnson.
Thank you. We have no hands raised right now, so Audrey, go ahead, Audrey.
Sorry about that. Dan, what do you kind of see your role being in that room? Because Sean had said that you're probably the most vocal receiver that he has.
I think my role in the receiver room is just to make everyone as good as possible. Bring everybody up to their best. Kind of being like a second coach, I want to say, but everything I see, I try to make sure that everything I see in my head and I think about, I try to make sure I vocalize to them so they can see where I'm coming from and just kind of give them a different view of the game as well.
And is that something, I mean, during the game, are you pulling Parker and Keandre aside and pointing things out to them on the sideline? How does that process work for you?
Yeah, that's something that I I tell the whole room that's something that we need to do for each other before the game. I tell everybody, if you see something that you would do or you see something that you think will help your teammate, vocalize it, make it known so that we can all have the tools that we need to win. So I
Tyler,
wouldn't say that's something that just I'll do. That the whole room does.
go ahead, Tyler.
If I could ask you to look across the practice field a little bit at a couple young cornerbacks, Joey Porter Jr., we heard a lot of good buzz about him in the preseason. He seems to be living up to it so far in the season. What makes him such a difficult matchup for a receiver on the outside? And then if you could give us some insight on Daquan Hardy, someone we haven't seen much of, but sounds like he's pushing to play in the star role, maybe play a little bit more at cornerback. What stands out about him since he got to campus?
With Joey, it's definitely his physicality. Joey is one of the most physical corners that I've gone against. Pretty much my career. His hands, he's great with his hands, and he's also great with his footwork. That's something that I don't know if people know much about, but Joey's footwork is really good and gets him in good position to use his hands. And then with Daquan, I would say it's Hardy's style of play. Definitely for sure. And I can see him getting a lot more reps in the future because he does excel in practice. See it transitioning to the game.
What is that style of play? I just because we haven't really seen him much since high school.
I would really say I will relate it kind of sort of to John Reed, but with a little bit more of his own swagger in there.
Audrey, go ahead.
As you guys kind of work through this new blended offense, how does the offense look to you now, Dan, compared to what you expected it to look like? Are you guys like on track, you think, with where you wanted it to be, or how do you assess that?
Yes, I would say that we're on track. I would say that it's still it looks the same to me, definitely. It's just we're working the kinks out and stuff like that. But once we get going, I know this will be a train that can't be stopped.
And is that I was asking you earlier about the younger guys and talking to them on the sidelines. We heard so much with the 2016 team that it was tough for guys to make adjustments in game because they were so young. There were so many different faces and all that. Is there a parallel here, do you think, with that? Or do you think you guys can adjust on the fly? Because we looked kind of at the first half Saturday night, the second half, and it looked totally different.
Yeah, I think we can adjust on the fly. I don't think that's something that we'll have a problem with or have had a problem with in the past. Just because there's something that we do in practice as well. We're always communicating with each other, always telling them, hey, you could have done this, you could have done this. And once that it gets to the game and we're doing the same thing, it's kind of like second nature to us, kind of just moving with it.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Dan. Appreciate it.
Nate Bauer, did you have a question?
Yeah, Dan, just to piggyback on that real quick. Did that second half on Saturday night, I mean, I hate to moral victory you, but did that give you guys a boost of confidence at all offensively and what you guys can do in the future?
Yeah, definitely. That showed us that we are capable of making plays. We are capable of doing what we need to do. It's just that we need to start faster and do it from the jump instead of taking the time to come into our own. Just from the start of the game, from start to finish.
And if I could follow real quick, do you have a sense of what might prompt a faster start?
Just everybody doing their job. It's here and there, one person on the play, but if we get all 11 guys doing their job from the start of the game to the finish of the game, locked in with details, that'll be our spark. That'll be what gets us going.
Okay, we have time for one or two more questions if anyone has one for Dan. If not, we'll let him get on his way.
Dan, you said that Parker kind of has a low-key, laid-back personality, but that sometimes he can be really funny. Is there a funny moment that you can share with us?
I have a phrase.
Sure, go for it.
He says so good. Like every time he agrees with something, he'd be like, so good. Like, hey, Parker, you got some good sleep last night? So good. It's funny when he says it, but it's hilarious.
Thanks.
Time for one more if anyone else has a question.
Dan, what's Sean been like through the last couple of weeks and the preseason, his leadership?
Sean's been great. He encourages all of us to come and watch film together. He tries to make sure that the whole receiver, tight end, running back, we're all gelled nicely together. And that's something that we're continuing to work on and something that he's continuing to push us on. And I've seen a lot of growth from the preseason up until now from Sean, and it is very good growth. It's growth that he needed, and it's growth that will help him be the great quarterback that we all know he will be.
All right. Thanks, everyone. And thanks for your time, Dan.